Good evening, YouTube. There's always like weird glitchy moments before we actually find out whether it's live or not, but we are here. I'm basically going to be starting my live class, my weekly live class for AS content in just a minute. We start at 6 o'clock on Thursdays. I also then do the year 13 or A-level content from 7 o'clock. So Thursdays are biology live lesson evening. Basically, I'm going to do a few, and the sort of the beginning of it, I'm going to jump on YouTube and just share it with you guys, but we'll be leaving the YouTube like halfway through, or not even halfway through, in like 15 minutes or so. If you do want to join the live class and sort of answer the questions, the topics for today's live classes are DNA and nucleic acids for the year 12 content or the AS content, and we're doing respiration, the chunky bits of respiration, so the biochemistry. And feedback from my students last week are that you wanted more application style questions to really get in the nitty gritty of it. So I will be doing that with the DNA stuff. I trawl through, I've got all my past papers open over here. I've got all my handout and PDF ready for the live class. There's not a huge amount of application on the straight up DNA kind of topics. There's a little bit when it comes to overlaps with the mitosis and meiosis and a few more things there. I might touch on some of those later on if we've got time, but there's a lot of application when it comes to the respiration. So the key to understanding that and getting good marks in the exam questions is absolutely watertight knowledge of basically what's happening in terms of the biochemistry. So that is like stage one. And this is pretty much an analogy for all of A-level biology as a whole. You have to understand the core nuts and bolts basics before you can, people most common question, I find the application questions most difficult. Well, that's because you've got to know the content inside out before you can start like rearranging that content in your head, basically, to start making connections so you can see how it all fits together. So I'm not surprised. Hi, Holly. So what I will do is, where are we at? We're at 1 minute 2. I'm going to broadcast my room to my students. So if you see me talking to people in the chat, that means I'm actually talking to them inside of my classroom. So let's broadcast that and say hello to the live class. So today is DNA nucleic acids for the AS content, and later on, if you want to watch the second session, join for the second session, we'll be doing some respiration. Who's here already? How many people are? I'm just also going to check the registrations. Normally you have to register 24 hours in advance, so we manually check you. Right now, it's the beginning of the year. We're trying to train you on the system. I'm just going to refresh this page and see who's joined us last minute. There's only 2 people who have joined in the last hour. So well done to everyone who's learning the system. You can register for next week. I suggest you just register for next week and the week after. The links are up there. Hi, Louis. Hi, Rowan. Hi, Manisha. Let's just have a look at these and see. Oh, there's 2 people who've been refused entry because their email address isn't that. So actually, everybody who's supposed to be here is here. Okay. Yeah, so Alex, you weren't registered 24 hours in advance. Yeah, so I've asked our staff who checks everyone for the next couple of weeks only, just to be checking right up until the start time at 6 o'clock, just because you're learning the system. But just register for next week now. It's by far and away the simplest. Okay, I'm just going to go straight into it, basically. And have I got the right presentation open? I do. I'm going to share my iPad screen and let's just get straight involved. I mean, it's 10:01. If people are late, I think just turn up on time. I have such a small amount of time with you guys that I want to just make the most of it as much as possible. We will be using some Nearpod. I'm going to go through all of that in a minute. So I've got some questions for you, whether that's everyone in my Zoom room right now. So I've got 3 questions there. So you can give me number 1, and then I've given you 3 options. So you can basically say who's watched or who's actually made notes to the playlist videos. So I'm just going to hopefully find out here whether you've watched the video, whether you've made notes to the videos, or whether you've done neither. Some of you might not know where to find that, so I can show you all of that. So Hussein has got it, made notes. Made notes we did last year. Okay, so, but that's, I mean, fair enough. If you're a year 13 student, then you might not want to duplicate your notes, but sometimes it is a good idea to go back and maybe test yourself. A nice idea that come revision time, or for year 13s recapping year 12 content, print out the template note again and maybe watch the lesson again, and then turn the lesson off and see how much of it you can fill in. without any prompting, and just see where what bits do you know, which bits don't you know, which bits when you go back to the video after that, it's like, oh, I totally forgot about that bit. Okay, well, maybe you need to go back and start that bit from fresh because it's totally gone from memory. Sometimes a little memory jog is like, that's all you need to make it fresh. And it's like, oh, I've got all that. I understand it. It's in my head. It's in my long-term memory. I can move on, do some more questions. What playlist, says Nicole? Okay, so that's probably a good opportunity to show you. Do you have the PDF? I will show you the registration page. I'll share something different over here. I'll stop the sharing and I'm going to share my browser instead. Okay, let's share. Okay, so from people who are asking me, I've been sort of doing a little bit of in the live chat in the site recently, and people have asked me, how do I sign up for the live classes? Or basically every lesson has a live classes button, which will take you to the live class registration button. It will be different. I'm in the AQA course here, but it's the same for OCR, same for EdXL. And you have for each lesson, that was last week, this will take you to the recording. This is this week. We can register. Obviously, it's too late to do that now, but you can register for next week right away. And the PDF is the document here. It will take you to the PDF, and when you download this, these are all hyperlinks to the videos for your specific exam board for you to cover in advance, because obviously the courses that we've written are exam board specific. This document, the questions I've selected to be general to everybody. So the questions in here. So for example, I'm not going to include any questions on purines and pyrimidines in this lesson because that's not covered in the EdXL and the AQA spec, but OCR students need to do it. So it will be in the playlist of things to do. So that's what the playlists are. Is that make sense to you, Nicole? Awesome. Okay. What next? Well, let's just go straight into it. I mean, it's already 4 minutes past, so I think without further ado, we're just going to get stuck in. It always takes a little while to share my iPad screen. It's just a bit of basically a delay. I'm now not seeing my iPad at all. It's just taking forever to load. Okay, so okay, question number 2. Who has answered the questions to that handout? Nicole, I'm assuming not you. So you can say some, all, or none. Just to give me an indication, some, or. Louis says all of them. Question 7 was hard, and question 5. Oh, well, that's my next question. You're preempting me, Alex. Haven't been able to answer them. We're going to go over the questions verbally. Okay, so how do I pronounce your name? Is it Rahab? How do I pronounce Kinosdam Sum? You don't have to apologize. I'm here. Basically, I suggest the best thing to do. Roy. Okay, Roy, makes my life nice and easy. But I mean, I'm more than willing to learn your name. If you come to my live classes, the least I can do is learn your name. When I go into a fresh classroom of students, I often go and do revision sessions at schools all over the country, and I will try and learn. If it's less than 20, I can learn less than 20 student names in the first 6 or 7 minutes, and I use it as a demo of how you can learn things quickly in terms of factual stuff. I just use it as an example. You only have to register for one of the classes, Amina, correct? You don't have to register for the AS and the A-level content. It's one link, one room. I'm just going to switch over at 7 o'clock. Okay, so final question on here. Which questions were the hardest for those of you that have done it? And obviously, if you haven't done it, don't worry, no stress. Alex said question 7 and question 5, so I'm just going to make a note of that. We'll see if we have any general consensus. So question 7 again. Okay, so definitely we're going to cover question 7, and Decca as well saying question 5. So I'll make sure that they get included. If anyone else has any questions that are not question 7 or question 5, and you specifically want me to go through what the answer is and why, then I can do that. Okay, next sort of housekeeping points. I've been sort of playing around with Nearpod a little bit. It's great. There's a few bits and pieces that will make our lives a bit easier. Sadly, okay, the way that I would love these sessions to run is for you to find that PDF in advance and attempt some or all of the questions and watch and write notes on some or all of the videos. Ideally, all of them, but life gets in the way sometimes, I understand. But The app, if you physically download the app, so I've downloaded the app onto my phone or tablet, it will let you write on a piece of paper, take a photo of your answer, and then you will be able to send the photo to the Nearpod. If you're using it via the web app, so via an internet browser on a desktop, I guess on any device, you can upload an image, but it doesn't, or on my computer, it doesn't give me the option to take a photo and send that image. It has to already be in my image library. So I want you to be writing your answers live in this session. Even if you have already done the handout, doing it again, rewriting your answer, it's going to be really valuable. Something we're trying to train students is that repeating the same questions is highly valuable. Even unless you're like bang on word for word what the mark scheme gets every time in the right order, then there is room for improvement. I still get huge value. The reason I am so good at A-level biology is because I have done questions on repeat for 10 years, right? That's basically my secret. You don't have 10 years, but you can repeat questions as much as you can over the next either 8 months or 10 months until your exams, or the year and 10 months until your exams. I will share the lesson code when I'm ready. I'm deliberately just hiding it right now so we don't get too distracted. But basically what I think will be best is to use the app, if you can, on your phone with the Zoom and the live class on your desktop or your laptop or your other screen, your tablet in front of you. Then you have 2 screens. Then what we're going to do is when I set the question, you can do like Q1 and you can handwrite your answer on paper and just write it like you would do in an exam. Typing it doesn't make that much sense. Using the app, if I put an image as the background, the keyboard covers half of the screen. It's like tricky to do it in a way that's really nice to use. So I think the best way I can simulate the exam is to put the question on the screen, for you to physically rewrite your answer, even if you've got your handout that you've done already in advance. Rewrite your answer in the time limit that I give you. Then you can take a photo, send it to me, and then we can compare answers. So give me feedback as to what's worked for you. I downloaded the app and used it myself, just so that you know, I was taking my photos landscape and they were coming out the right way on my screen. So I don't know how it'll work if you take a portrait photo, but take your photos like this. We can always play around with that. It's a minor detail. Okay, let me just catch up on the chat. Yeah, app is for Android and for Apple. You'll find it from wherever you download your apps from. It's called Nearpod, Nearpod. But if you are taking photos, please, please, please do rewrite your answer in the time I give you in the live session. It's really important you are doing it in those time conditions. So you're not using the notes and the textbook and you're writing beautiful answers on the handout and then just sending me that, because that's not a simulation of the exam. We're about training you for the exam, and time pressure is a big thing to deal with. Okay, so Louis, let me know how it goes with, but make sure you've downloaded the app, not just the web app. Mark schemes for the questions. Yes, they will. I deliberately do not give you the mark schemes in advance. You are to be answering those questions from your head, and then I'll share the mark scheme with you after the live. The app is called Nearpod, N-E-A-R. It's written right here. Let me put a and it's also written here. Okay, so those of you that are ready, oh, it's moving those at the same time. Let's do that, and I'll just delete this guy. The mark schemes for last week are all there. I'm positive they are, because I uploaded them myself. There's 2 documents. There's a QP document, question paper, and QP and MS, question paper and mark scheme document. Ask me at the end, Rohan, if you've got any sort of admin questions like that. Okay, fab. Let me come over to Nearpod and see who's there. We've got Manisha, Nicole, Asha, KW. Is that you, Kim? code is, I should maybe, oh, it's going to move it again, isn't it? And I can also share the link, I'm pretty sure, in the chat here. Make sure your settings, please, are set to panelists and attendees. And I see a couple of Alex right now, your settings are default, and Kim, your settings are just to panelists. So you're only sharing information with me. So Alex and Kim, if you just switch that to panelists and attendees, then that would be wonderful. Okay, so I'm now going to switch my screen. It's my magic timer to say goodbye, YouTube. So yeah, if you do want to join us in these sessions, then you know where to find us, tailoredtutors.co.uk. I'm going to just say cheerio to everyone over there, and we're going to get cracking with the Nearpod. Okay, if I could